Well, hello everybody. I think we are live. I think my microphone is on. So I think we can get started then. Hello, welcome to Andor Analysis here on the Geeknd. I'm Jamie. I hope you're doing well, whether you're here live. I can see a few in the chat, or if you're watching on the replay, aka in the future, hello to you. And if you're one of the two people that disliked this stream like an hour before it even started, then get a life. Right, we're going to talk about Andor episode 9. We're going to do it with spoilers, and I'm going to just give you some general thoughts of mine and then come over to the chat to see what you're all saying about this latest episode of this latest Star Wars series on Disney+. So, excuse me, again, this was episode 9, an episode I think built on the foundations of last week and much more. Last week was definitely the weakest episode for me, but still, this just shows the level of the quality of this show in general. It was still a very enjoyable episode, and this episode is built on that. I continue to enjoy the layered writing of this series, the set design, the acting, the way it goes back and forth a lot. It goes off in different directions of the galaxy, but the way it delicately juggles the locations, the characters within them, it never feels rushed. So I am enjoying the overall pacing and vibe of this series still. And with this particular episode, we got a lot more of the oppressive Imperial prison environment, where we're starting to see Cassian, his leadership, come through as he begins to hatch an escape plan. Andy Serkis, we talked about him last week. That was a bit of a surprise. As Kino Loy, I think. We started to see his softer side. He wants people to get out of this prison, including himself. He wants them to do it in the right way, i.e. serving their time, not escaping yet. Plot-wise, the fact that nobody gets out of the prison, the way they slowly revealed that was great. I have to say, I really, really enjoyed that. And the subtle reaction on Serkis's face when he learned the truth was genius. He played that so well. And then he swiftly plays ball with Cassian's escape talk. And I think that's the end of the episode. Once again, I did really enjoy yet another day in the work and domestic life of Mon Mothma. I still find it. I'm going to stop saying weirdly captivating now, because it's just a fact now. There's something strange about it. It's happened pretty much 9 weeks on the trot. I think I am finding this the most captivating part of the series still. Her life in the Senate, really enjoyed that. Always good to see more of her in the Senate with the jeering hecklers, showing how speaking for the good of people falls on deaf ears in such environments. And her home life as well. Yeah, still really enjoying that. We are definitely building up to one big divorce, that's for sure. And I'm liking these different battles she's fighting ahead of going into Rogue One. It's really interesting. I mean, I'm surprised. It surprised me how much I'm enjoying this element of the series so far. I'd say that with this episode, if you haven't liked the pace of the show, Peter, I think you might be in the chat, then this episode probably isn't going to help matters for you. I think it was full of substance, though. Not much action, but there was a lot of plot, there was a lot of substance, and more action is presumably to come next week with the escape. So patience, I think, is the word with this series. Right, I'm popping over to the chat. There's some general thoughts from me. Don't think I've got anything else to add just yet. Hello to James Guy Photography. This show is turning into a complete circus. That it is. Power Droid Girl enjoyed that. Hello to you, Power Droid Girl. Jane Flakes, happy belated birthday for yesterday. Hope you had a good one. Glenn, the geeky hippie, once again, no longer the spooky hippie. That time of the year is now over, people. Peter is here as well. Good to see Peter down. I'm looking forward to Peter's thoughts on this episode of Andor. Clays, hello there to you. Gaz Nottingham, I think I said hello already, but hello again. Also, have I missed anybody? Yes, I have. Chris from Explaining Computers, greetings to you. It's another Thursday, I know, man. There's only 3 more of these yet left. Not 3 more Thursdays left. Hopefully not. But 3 more Andor Thursdays, I think, for us doing this stream. Rob H, good to see you. To usual friends and party people. I think I've hit everybody up. No, David Milano. Hope all is good with you and Anders Lay. And I think I now have said hello to everybody. If I haven't, hello, and hello if you're watching in the future, drop us a comment as well. So let me know what you thought of this episode. Yeah, I know, Peter, shocking. I mean, you can dislike the channel, but don't dislike a video before it's even started, a stream where you don't even know. I mean, if you dislike the stream at the end of the stream, I can't argue with that. You're probably making a sensible judgment. But to do it before the stream's even started, unless you're just used to my nonsense, you probably know exactly what's to come. But yeah, 2 people before it even started. I don't get why people do that. But hey, I'm glad they've got plenty of time on their hands. Hey, Matthew Stokes, hope you're doing good. Evening to you. So Peter actually is commented on Andor episode 9, and I am surprised to hear it's not a bad episode. Peter enjoyed this one because I think you gave perhaps your lowest score last week. Gaz Nottingham says this episode was a real deep dive into how everyone is captive in their own lives by their own doing. Mon has trapped herself financially and by her family. Vix and Cyril too. So let us know your thoughts on Andor episode 9. Power Girl says, I thought 9 was the best episode so far, particularly the cinematography. I think all of these episodes have been particularly good looking, but yeah, the cinematography and the set design, as I mentioned earlier, are 2 of many strong points. This series just has insane production values. And I didn't completely buy into Obi-Wan Kenobi looked cheap, although I think at times it definitely looked cheaper than at other times. But I think to label it as cheap, I don't think I ever went down that path or would agree with it. However, now looking at Andor, you have to say they all look cheap, don't they? Particularly Kenobi. So yeah, it's just such a good looking and good sounding series as well. I am really enjoying the soundtrack. Okay, let me know your thoughts on episode 9 of Andor. Here is Chris from Explaining Computers. Once again, with episode 9, I enjoyed another weekly visit to the Star Wars world. Quality stuff, and I was pondering that the pace allows the amazing sets to be economic for a TV show. Yeah. Do we know the budget for this series? It'd be interesting to know how the budget compares to other Star Wars Disney Plus series, because it looks like a movie. I'm sure it hasn't got a movie budget. It must have a bigger budget than The Mandalorian and even Obi-Wan Kenobi, even with Ewan McGregor involved, because there's more episodes, right? But the thing as well with this series, I believe I read somewhere that they I don't know about the budget, but budget aside, they actually had more time with this series, particularly in post-production compared to Kenobi. So a lot of time has been spent. This is not rushed. It doesn't feel rushed on screen. It doesn't sound like it was rushed behind the scenes either. I think they had twice as much time in post-production as Kenobi did, which on one hand makes sense because it's, I think, twice the length of Kenobi, but still, it's still twice the time. So yeah, right. I think I'm having trouble with the chat here. Don't take it personally. It's my computer being a bit glitchy. But I think I have found a new comment from Rob H. I think they're slightly bringing in plot conveniences by repeating Maya Bay and Anto Krieger out of thin air in the ISB. Bothered me a bit, but I'm sure the payoff will be delicious. I'm sure it will be too. Very, very tasty payoff. And where's Doc Brown's character gone? Because he seemed to be pretty consistently appearing and causing trouble. What's his name in the Doc Brown Star Wars? It's not even his real name. It's another character he played. Is it Bailey Smith, his real name? Ben Bailey Smith. What's his name? What's his character in Andor? Let's have a look. I can't find the actor's name as the character's name. Can't find him. Can't find the actor's name. I'm going to stop because this can't be very riveting viewing. This definitely deserves a double thumbs down. But yeah, he seemed to have vanished, but I'm sure he'll pop up. Right. Let's work down here again. I also like the homage to Leia's questioning in A New Hope with the cell door shutting, rapid tilt down, and the Imperial marching past. That's from Chris explaining computers. Yeah. Anders earlier shared a link to somebody who had actually put those two scenes, the one from Andor and the one from New Hope, together. And yeah, lovely homage. Now that's an Easter egg, isn't it? Yeah, I did feel that at the time. And I usually don't notice things like that. So I was quite proud of myself, but I wasn't quick enough to go and make a comparison video. Peter, in regards to the episode was pretty okay. The pacing is still horrendous, but it was not only filler. So Peter's still not particularly happy with this episode, it sounds like. Padroid Girl, Mon Mothma's little smile off to one side as Perrin is trying to marry Veloth to a man was a quality moment all round. Clays agrees with the homage that Chris from Explaining Computers brought up in terms of A New Hope. The interrogation scene there. Blevin. There's a few Blevins in the chat here, so that must be stop saying Doc Brown because people think I'm talking Back to the Future or something. Yeah. He seems to have vanished, hasn't he? I don't remember seeing him in this episode. What's he up to? Because Powderoy Girl, you had a theory that he might actually be a rebel sympathizer. What's he up to? Rob H also says, yeah, it's Blevin, baby. I added the baby. Right. David Milano here. The only thing weird about the last episode, which I loved, was the 2-second shot of Bix dropped in just before they cut to the ISB. It felt like it has to go somewhere, but it was so short. I'm not sure I noticed that, to be honest. We'll have to keep an eye out for that. Sharp eye out, by the sounds of it, when I have my rewatch. Matthew Stokes says, I'm still liking it so far. Non-Star Wars fans I know are finding it tough going, though. Yeah, that's interesting. Because, I don't know, I kind of feel like this is just a good series, to be honest. And it's difficult to sort of detach myself from the Star Wars elements of it as to whether you could go into this having not seen a Star Wars film. And I think you can understand it for sure, but could you enjoy it as much? Probably not as much, but yeah, I don't know. I feel like The Mandalorian is still a really great new entry point to Star Wars. You know, you can just watch it and have a good time with it, having not seen the films and more or less understand pretty much exactly what's going on. Yeah, Andor is, I suppose, having some great world building and lore in there. But I don't know. I feel like you could go in as a neutral, and I just think it's a good series. As people have said, you know, this would not be out of place on HBO. It feels almost out of place on Disney Plus. But yeah, that's interesting. That's interesting that non-Star Wars fans are finding it hard work. It does sound like some Star Wars fans are finding it hard work. It's got apparently quite low numbers so far in comparison to other things, other peers, if you like. But I don't know, how much that's down to Star Wars fans or non-Star Wars fans who gave it a go tuning out, or just people not really giving it a go yet. I think it's possibly more of a latter in terms of the figures when it comes to Star Wars fans anyway. I think some, just not that into it anymore and taking their time with it. And, a lot of people were questioning why we were getting a prequel to a prequel and why Cassian Andor was the lead character. I think when you see this series, those questions are answered well. But I don't know. I think in time, I think this series is going to be more or less universally enjoyed, I think, certainly by the Star Wars fan base. But it's going to take time. It might even take till the second season, Right. Let me have a look. I'm still having trouble with the chat here. I stalled for a while, hoping it might refresh. Power Droid go in regards to Blevin being potentially a rebel sympathizer. I did do think he was deliberately covering up rebel activity, but his sect got reassigned, so I'm sad now. Not abandoning the theory, though. No, keep the faith, keep the theory faith. Matthew Stokes says, I don't think it has the mix between entertainment and well-made TV. Right, that's not a criticism, just an observation. James Flakes, the moment of Cyril stalking Dedra gave me shivers. That was so dark, and it showed his dangerous side, that he felt that he could confront her with his twisted obsession. Was creepy as. Yeah, some great performances in this series. Glenny Geeky Hippie says, this is the best thing Disney Plus has made yet, and that is from any of their franchises and properties. Dave McKay, Blevin got kicked to the curb when Dedra took over Ferrix. So that's it. You don't think he's going to come back? Well, Power Droid Girl is keeping the faith that he might do, but I don't know. I feel like there was a lot of time invested in him. I feel like he's the kind of character that would want revenge. Can you hear that? I don't know if you can hear the... Probably can't hear it, but there's the... it doesn't matter, actually. I don't even know why I'm bringing that to your attention. But basically, there's this van that goes around Mexico City like all the time. Feels like all the time. With a megaphone, playing a recording, basically saying, you got anything? If you have, bring it out. We'll take it in terms of scrap. So yeah, anyway, that was exciting. Now I've definitely earned those 2 dislikes that I got an hour before the stream even started. Gaz Nottingham says, I really enjoyed this show. The Longburn story is different to other Star Wars shows, but it's good to have varied genres and styles. No complaints from me. Yeah, I don't want all Star Wars series to go in this style at all. It'd be very strange if The Mandalorian suddenly switched. But as Gaz says, there's plenty of room to have different genres and styles. And, I've said this before. I think Star Wars is bigger than all. It's definitely bigger than all of us. And there is no, one size fits all with Star Wars anymore. But the beauty of it is, in this new phase with Disney Plus, you will hopefully find something that does fit in terms of Star Wars. But they're appealing to so many, or need to appeal to so many different generations of fans now, who don't seem to have too much crossover, it seems. Not everything's going to be for you. But I definitely welcome this style, but equally wouldn't want everything to go off in this way. But it's nice to know we have hopefully still have a second season of Andor. I'm pretty sure these figures won't affect the future of this show. I feel like they're pretty invested in it. I feel like they know they're onto a good thing here as well. So hopefully they won't allow the figures to change things. Right. Peter says Cyril is actually a very good Star Wars baddie. Let's get our scores in for episode 9 out of 10. Let me know your scores because I'm really struggling with this chat now. I don't know what's going on. It's sort of working. Here's Dave McKay. I feel like Disney Plus is pushing Andor less than previous Star Wars shows. Yeah. I think it's a more difficult vehicle to push. Kenobi is the easiest they've had so far because you had the return of Ewan McGregor and Hayden Christensen, and they were both really heavy on the press circuit for it as well. And I know we're in a bit of a bubble in terms of Star Wars content online, but there was so many viral moments from interviews that Hayden and Ewan gave on YouTube, TikTok, YouTube Shorts. I don't think this show has that connection, that star power in terms of Diego Luna. So I don't know if they probably did have a smaller press budget for it, but I feel like they did a lot of interviews. Not with me, though. So I don't know if it's fair to say pushing less, or is it just being noticed less? I don't know. It might be right to say they're pushing it less. They probably have got a smaller press budget for it. But I certainly see it when I do go onto Instagram or YouTube. I certainly see lots coming from the Star Wars accounts, official accounts, as well as fan accounts. But that's to be expected. Yeah, I don't know. I think in the UK, Kenobi, Ewan McGregor and Hayden were popping up on huge shows, huge primetime shows, and the One Show. I don't know if that's the case with Andor. I know they were in the UK for a little bit of their promotional tour, but I don't think they were appearing on, your big prime TV, primetime TV shows, chat shows, and what have you. So yeah, I don't know if it's Disney not pushing as much, or if it's, they're sort of pushing them, at blanks, other media not lapping it up so much. But Kenobi was, just, it didn't matter, what show, what kind of radio station you are, what kind of TV show you are. It's Ewan McGregor talking about Obi-Wan Kenobi. That goes beyond the fan base. Anyway, I'm rambling because the chat's still not working very well. Let me try and, okay. It's kind of going green. Is this my laptop or no? It must be the chat because it's just the chat section of the screen. Why is it? Okay. I think this is the first score. 9.8 out of 10 from Glenn the Geeky Hippie for Andor episode 9. 8.5 out of 10 from Chris Explaining Computers. 9.81 out of 10 from Gaz Nottingham. And it's Jane Flake, so you know how this will work. It's 9 out of 12 in Imperial, as always. 8 out of 10 from Clays. Now, we have got the lowest score. It's not a surprise that it's come from Peter. It's a 6.3, and it's probably the lowest we'll get, because generally this seems to score pretty highly, and that has not been the case with Kenobi and Book of Boba, I have to say, doing these streams. Powder Girl, 10 out of 10. Yet another 10 out of 10. It's an 8.6 from Mr. Matthew Stokes, and that's because of the Circus Andor dynamic. Yeah, and we've got more of that to come next week, which is exciting. And Andy Serkis, even though I was a little bit, I don't want to say begrudging, but I was a little bit snidey towards him last week, which I'm sure he took very personally. He's fantastic. He is fantastic. And he was kind of wasted, wasn't he, in the sequel trilogy? Let's be honest. So it's nice that he is getting a proper chance to play in the Star Wars universe. 9 out of 10 from 9.1, out of 10 from Anders. And Jane, is open to the idea that she might adapt her score. 11 out of 12. Is that for the series so far? Oh, do you mean if you go back and watch it all? I think it's going to be a great binge. Definitely. Right. I think I've got all the scores. I'm going to give this an 8 out of 10. I think last week, did I give it a 7 out of 10 last week or 7.5? I'm going to give this an 8. 8 out of 10. Same as Clay's. So I think that's it. I think I've caught up. And my computer hasn't blown up yet. So that's probably it for this week. I actually, a bit of a messy stream. Probably did deserve those 2 dislikes before it even started. They knew. They've seen the future. If you are in the future, thank you for watching as well. And if you're here live, thank you. And we'll do this again next week. Double figures, baby. It's episode 10 next week. So we'll be talking about that. We only have 3 more to go, which is weird. It's gone quickly and sad at the same time. Now, Matthew Stokes has initiated the wave. The wave emoji is here. So that does mean that we do need to start waving, everybody, because I'm going to hit the end broadcast button, which means there's an awkward lag where I have ended, but it's not officially ended. And it's all very awkward. So just keep waving, everybody. Keep waving. I hope you have a great rest of the week. Good start to next week. And I'll see you in the kind of just beyond the midway point. All right. Are you waving? See you all soon.